Sam O'Reilly with the Fight Talk podcast. Myself and Craig today, joined by the ever famous, world famous Kevin Smith. What's happening, Kev?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you? You alright?
Yeah, all good, all good. Craig, what's happening?
Not much, mate. I'm living the dream. I'm fucking relaxing in my bed. I've got a packet of golden Oreos. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me tonight.
Brilliant. Let's start off. We're going to recap the Sky Bill last night, which was Battle on the Mersey, I think it was called, in Liverpool.
Indeed.
Some good names on it, some good fights. Some fights that were sold to us as 50-50s that clearly weren't. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was alright. I missed some Saturday night Sky boxing, so done the job. It filled a hole for me. Craig started us off with the main... I think there was 4 fights that were on Sky, is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 4.5. I caught the four fights that, as you said, were masquerading as 50-50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first of all, the first one to talk about probably is Rocky Fielding, David Brophy, which I kind of got a hard time on Twitter because I posted just before the first bell that David Brophy sits on Rocky Fielding's chest and does his work in close. I thought he could maybe nick a decision, and the reason for me saying that, I mean that didn't last long. I got fucking slaughtered after that. But the basis of me saying that was the work that John Ryder done. John Ryder,
yeah,
basically he implemented that game plan, but he was never a natural super middleweight. So that's what I based that on. I've seen Brophy a few times. He's got a good engine. Used to be a footballer, so he's got solid cardio, and he just looked a little bit. You know, when he fought George Groves, he's stuck under the lights. He got stuck under the big lights, and he never really performed. And last night, kind of just looked the same. He sort of froze. He actually caught Rocky Fielding with a nice straight right hand, but then when Fielding started hitting him with the long levers, it was just so one-sided, and he just crumbled under the pressure.
Yeah, Kev, who did you think was gonna, before the fight? Did you envisage it being as easy for Rocky as it turned out to be?
No, not at all. You know, he didn't do. You know, he wasn't amazing against George Groves, but he lasted a few rounds, and obviously I thought. You know, I honestly thought Rocky Fielding, not the same class as Groves. I thought, you know, like Craig, I probably thought, you know, late stoppage or points decision, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, it just blew everyone away. I don't, you know, you probably hear stories come out that he wasn't prepared or something, I don't know. Or he just got absolutely blown away by a much bigger puncher and a better guy on the night.
Yeah, it
was an unusual one, wasn't it?
It was unusual. It was. I mean,
I never in my wildest dreams did I think he'd do it in the first round, and you know, after hitting him only a few times, he seemed finished, didn't he?
Yeah, Craig made the point, John Ryder. It's a good point, but I think the only difference with John Ryder, he's not he's a tough man. I'm not saying Brophy's not, but you know, he's been with Billy Joe, he's been around, he's been with a lot of people, and Brophy seems to get stopped when it gets to the bigger, you know, that level, that next level. And I can't be a hypocrite and say I saw it coming, because I'm not a massive Rocky Fielding fan. I don't particularly think he's great at anything, but he must be a hard worker. He's always in good shape, and he comes to do a job. I think he's very professional. So, you know, I think he probably just caught Brophy. I don't know if he caught him cold. I don't know, but you know, for your shot at the British title, you shouldn't be getting stopped that early. I don't think, unless it's like a ridiculous bomb that rocks your head off that can happen to anyone. But he was just open for the whole round. He just seemed to be wide open, and Rocky took advantage of it and finished him. Who next, Craig? They kept talking on Sky about European, and I don't know. Probably, I don't know who there is at British level that you think could challenge for that British right now. But if you already heard, who you putting Rocky Fielding in with next?
I think I don't know. I think it's hard because, I mean, you look at domestic level, the next natural fight is maybe a Darryl Williams, and I think personally, going back to that John Ryder, Darryl Williams is all wrong for Rocky Fielding for me, and I think what Darryl Williams has got that David Brophy doesn't have is he's fearless, you know. You know, he's going to come in there, he's not going to give a fuck. He's going to come in, he's going to go to war, and he's not going to let the moment get the better of him, you know. He goes in and he has a tear-up. I think domestically, That, or who's the boy, Zach Parker, that destroyed Luke Blackledge?
Yeah.
He looked good, on the Smiths. He can punch, man. He's young and fresh. He can hit. I think he became mandatory for the British, or got himself, that was an eliminator for the British or something like that. So he's obviously not too far away. I think he looks like a really good prospect. If he goes on to the European, he'll beat that European champion. That European champion's rubbish, man. He got battered off Callum Smith in a round. I know that Rocky Fielding obviously did as well, but you know, Yusuf Mohammadi, I think he's called.
Yeah.
Fielding can beat him. That's a winnable fight for me.
Mate, can you imagine the difference, Kev? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the difference if Darryl Williams, who's a 5'9" super middle, against Rocky Fielding, who's a 6'3" super? Can you imagine the size difference in that fight? That would be insane.
But Ryder must have been. What's Ryder? Ryder's not
5'10", 11.
6 foot.
Yeah, he's there or thereabouts. But Darryl Williams is 5'9". That would be hilarious to see, because can you? You know, these guys are the same weight, obviously, but Darryl's so small. But he, obviously, like you said, he's fearless, English champ. I'm guessing he wants to go British next. He's defending the English again in November. But would politics get in the way of that fight, as in Frank Warren and BT and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom? But I'd like to see it.
He's a Mickey Elliott fighter, and he's not a Frank Warren fighter. He's a Mickey Elliott fighter.
Yeah, he's tied up with them now, though, isn't he? You know, Mickey's best work now is going to be on BT Sports, I would imagine.
Mickey fucking sold his soul to the WBO. Unbelievable.
Looking at that though, it's a massive step down. You know, does he carry on this same path, or does he start taking risks? You know, because for me, you're fighting some. You know, he's a decent fighter, Rocky Field, and obviously he's come unstuck once. But for me, he's a very good fighter, and I do like him. Actually, I know you don't particularly like him that much, Sam. But for me, I can see him going European level and stepping up. I don't really want to see him in another British fight against somebody who's going to knock out in a round or a couple of rounds. Or, you know, I think it's now time for him to step up and see how far he can go, rather than just keep, you know, being on shows and doing what he's doing. I think it's now time to step up, definitely. Yeah,
no, I don't see why not. Like you're right, you can't stay at that level forever. But when he fought Callum Smith, what was that for? Can you remember? Was that a British title?
British.
It was.
British, yeah.
It was British at the time. All right, so yeah, I guess Callum sort of bypassed it, didn't he? Won that and then just moved on, and now he beat Skoglund, and you know he's got his own story. But yeah, you're right. Rocky needs to move somewhere. I guess there's no point staying at British level unless he had plans to win it outright, which he doesn't necessarily seem to, does he? He wasn't like, oh, I want to win this outright. So I guess European's the next route for him. But I don't think he's going to have any joy at world level at all.
Nah, he leaves his chin hanging out. He's got one of the big fucking giraffe necks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So his chin's always just hanging out to dry. So you know he's getting better all the time, but for me, as soon as he steps up to that level, or even fringe, well, they were talking about Tyrone Zoig as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Even at that level, I think he could get found out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Ohara Davies was the next. No, was he next? No, of course he weren't. Sean Masher Dodd. Sean Dodd and Tom Stalker was the next on that. That fight, I couldn't work out if I was enjoying it or not. I don't know if that sounds weird or not. You know, Stalker, he's got the amateur pedigree, was British. He was the captain of the British Olympics team, I think, wasn't he? Something like that.
Yes,
and
2012.
That's right. And, you know, great pedigree, and just has not done it as a pro. So being sold it as a 50-50 was a bit crazy to me. I know Masha Dodd didn't have that amateur pedigree and stuff, but he's adapted well to the pro game, and he's a tough man. I actually thought that Stalker would fold, and late on that Dodd would be able to finish him. Didn't turn out like that. It turned into a fight where I guess they kind of went through the motions at some stages. I don't know if that's fair to say or not, because Stalker boxed well at the beginning, and then he seemed to take a couple of shots and kind of went into his shell and was a bit more gun shy. I don't know. Kev, what did you think of the fight?
Listen, it was always, you know, looking at their records, it was always going to go to a points decision. There's no doubt in that. I think they've knocked out 6 geezers between them. You know, it was never going to be a massive a knockout, that's for sure. Tom Stalker, he's, you know, promise and has never delivered. And Masha Dodd, you know, I love that guy. I really do. I feel, you know what? Every time I watch him, and he just makes me smile. He really does. I just think, go on, son, fucking do it again. You know, I really do. I'm always behind him. Ever since Scotty Cardles, you know, and the fights there, I've just been like, you just want him to succeed, don't you? And he's not the best boxer in the world, but he's got a heart of a lion, and he just keeps coming, doesn't he? And that's the kind of fighter that I love. And the odds are always against him, you know, and he seems to pull it out the bag, and you know, I really like him. I just think he's if he had a knockout punch, I think he'd be deadly. I really do. I think he'd be absolutely brutal, but unfortunately, he doesn't. But you know, British level, you know, European level, potentially. What was that? That was British yesterday, wasn't it? Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth. That's it. Yeah, it was Commonwealth yesterday. So European's the next step. You know, but that's probably where he's going to be found out, I reckon. But yeah, listen, he's been a great servant, and he's entertained everyone, hasn't he? So you can't knock him. He's a top lad. Yeah.
The thing that I want to point out is that Luis Ortiz is getting a hard time for using heart medication. Tom Stalker has to get himself some of that fucking heart medication because he's the he's the only person I've seen in a fight whose heart shrinks as the fucking as evidently as that. He started the fight so well the first 2 rounds. He could have outboxed him. I read something with Derry Matthews, and Derry said, based on pedigree and boxing ability, this could be Tom Stalker's easiest night in the ring. And it could have been. See, if he fought the same way that he fought the first 2 rounds, he would have cruised it. But he got hit with a couple of shots and he shat himself.
Yeah, literally.
Absolutely no defence. No, he's walking up, he's dancing about, wasting energy with his hands down and getting cracked in the head. Like, and he had the cheek. I think it was round 7 and round 10. He got battered in both rounds, and he walked away at the end of the round with his hand up as though he won the fucking round. I thought, what is this guy doing, man? And he's sitting down in his corner, trying to say, you need to turn it up a notch. These are the biggest rounds of your life. These are the most important rounds of your life. And he just went out and did the same thing again. He had so much energy in his legs, no energy in his upper body. You know, the shots were pitter-patter shots. They were doing nothing to Sean Dodd. He was throwing 8 shots in a combination, and Dodd didn't give a fuck. He didn't care. He thought, yeah, okay, cool. And then Sean Dodd, what he did really well was he always had the last word. He always had the last word. So Stalker might throw 6 really nice, technically better shots. He wouldn't have an impact, and then Dodd would push on, throw in the big uppercuts on the inside, and just grind him down against the ropes.
And that was the thing, wasn't it? He just looked so much stronger. Dodd, didn't he? He looked so much stronger. I think, you know, the amount of times that he hit Tom Stalker and he went off balance or went across the ring and landed again on the ropes, or you know, there was none of that with Sean Dodd. He just seemed to plant his feet and he was just there, wasn't he? Even I think it was the 8th round when he come out and he landed a sort of 8 to 10 punch combo, and it was all on the gloves and it looked nice. Don't get me wrong. And then literally straight after he'd finished, Sean Dodds hit him and followed him, you know, head on his chest and literally hit him about 4 or 5 times, and that's what you remember. You know, you don't remember the little slaps, the nice combo. You don't remember it, but you know, seeing him stumbling around the ring, it looked like 2 different weight classes. It really did.
I don't know. I just don't know what is up or what has been wrong with Tom Stalker since he turned professional. I don't really know much about his amateur career. I know he got put out in the first round of the Olympics. But listen, he was the captain of the GB squad. I don't know how they decide who the captain is. I don't know if it's...
It must be Strauss.
Who's the best fucking singer. Yeah, it must be Strauss. But since he's turned over, man, he's been absolutely hopeless, hasn't he? Hopeless,
Shocking.
Man.
Do you know what he could do with? He could do with them running prize fighter again.
Yeah.
You know, he just, like I said, he's a boxer, isn't he? But he seems to fold. And yeah, I know Dodd didn't have the knockout power. I still thought that he may be able to just crumble Stalker and he'd roll over, probably a little bit unfairly. But yeah, you're right. His fight is just, he seems that once he gets hit, that's it. He's in his shell, and he's gonna he allows himself to be bullied, which not many fighters do. You know, you can't box to another fighter's game plan. That's what he tends to do. He lets the guy bully him, rough him up, and that's it. He doesn't have an answer. He kind of has one way to box, and that's it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ohara Davies and Tom Farrell. This is so many layers to this fight, from the fight itself, the aftermath, our Twitter beef since here with one of my tweets. It's gone off. So Kev don't even know about this yet.
Tell me more, mate. Tell me more. I'm interested.
We'll get into that. Let's talk about the fight itself, right? Tom Farrell was 13-0 going into that. Ohara Davies was coming off a fight where he was extremely outclassed by Josh Taylor. Took a fight in his opponent's backyard, an undefeated fighter, and he said the day before in the press conference, or the 2 days before, this ain't a 50-50 fight. If I don't knock him out, I'm a bit worried about my own career. And it kind of ended up turning out like that, didn't it? He rocked... Was it the first round he dropped him? It was, wasn't it? He dropped him in the first.
Yeah.
Could have possibly been stopped at that point. Dropped him twice in the second. Could have been stopped again. Tom Farrell, too brave, so brave. He needed help from the ref or his corner. Never came. The fight went on. Never won a round. All this time I'm tweeting, Jesus Christ, somebody help this man, because he is tough as old boots. He doesn't want to give up. He's in front of his own people, but he needs saving from himself. But no, let's let it carry on. And then he gets cut, and his face starts looking a mess. Still no pulling him out. And I'm sitting there fucking upset at this point. I've never met the geezer, but I'm a boxing fan, and I'm watching this man get bashed from pillar to post, and no one seems to be doing anything about it. In the end, he ended up getting... Was it the 6th round it ended, or 7th? 6th. He got dropped bad, and I'm just want his corner to... He doesn't want the embarrassment, I guess, of staying down or quitting, or however he would perceive it. So he got up again. And I'm screaming at the telly with my wife, who isn't a massive boxing fan, and she's going the same. Why are they letting him carry on? This is their fighter. And then finally he gets dropped for a 4th or 5th time. I'd lost count. And then they throw in the towel, which at that point was just fucking insulting. How it was allowed to continue for that long, I don't know. I thought it was unsafe. I think his corner were irresponsible, and I believe the ref should have done something a lot earlier as well. Kev, I've gone on about 5 minutes about this fight.
It was really, really uncomfortable to watch, wasn't it? And do you know what? I got sucked in. I did. I got sucked in. I thought, this is going to be a cracking fight. Can't wait for it. As soon as Ohara Davies landed, I was like, oh, it's finished, isn't it? Shit. It was one of them ones. It was an ordinary David A again. I got sucked in. I was watching all the press conferences, the pushing, the anger. I was loving it. I was thinking, yes, this is it. This is going to be a right cracker, right barnstormer. And then all of a sudden, oh, shit. Got it wrong again. Literally. I was like, oh, God. Yeah, it was... Do you know what? It was really uncomfortable viewing. It was literally, you know, from the first knockdown onwards, I was just like, please stop it, someone stop it. It's it was heartbreaking in some cases. You know, he's going to be it's going to be tough for him to come back, I think. I'm sure he will, but he took one hell of a pasting, didn't he? You know, he took one hell of a hiding, and Ohara Davies looked like the Ohara Davies before. It just shows you how good Josh Taylor is, though. I know I'm going on to him, I apologise, but it just shows you how good he is, mate. He's a phenomenal fighter. But Ohara Davies, you know, if he carries on doing that, you never know where he's going to end up, do you? So,
on the anniversary of Mike Towell passing away, I was fucking disgusted watching that fight last night. I was disgusted. What else do you need? What other sentimental occasion do you need to show some fucking humility and common sense in a fight where a boy's getting his skull punched about the ring?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I sat there and I watched it, and I was the same as you, Sam. After the first knockdown, that was the heaviest one. The first and the last were the heaviest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, why are we watching this? I'm tweeting on my fucking Twitter, and every time I'm tweeting, I see a little picture of Mike Towell pop up. Every time someone else is tweeting, Mike Towell pops up, and I'm watching this boy get his brain rocked all over his head, and I'm thinking, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this on this day?
Yeah.
I don't understand it, man. Why have we not learned anything? just, I don't know who you point the finger at more, whether it's the corner or the ref. Some people say, the ref.
It's definitely the corner, isn't it? It's definitely the corner. They care. They're supposed to be.
I agree.
They're supposed to. They know their man, and they know when their man's beat. That referee ain't been in the gym with him for the last 12 weeks. And for the last however many years they've been together. For me, if the fighter gets up, I think the ref has the right, unless they're falling all around the place, to say box on. If he says I'm okay, box on.
The thing that got me was, after 4 rounds, the boy is 7 or 8 points behind, right?
Yep.
Now, what you're banking on then is you're banking on a knockout, right? Let's just look at his fucking record. He's only had 3 knockouts or 3 stoppages in 13 fights. He's not going to get, and it's never going to happen. There was no way of him winning the fight. There was no way he was going to win the fight. So what? Why are we letting it happen? It was really saddening to watch. I was sitting there just disheartened watching it and thinking, why are we doing this, man? And then I heard he got taken to, he had to get taken to hospital afterwards, and hopefully he's all right.
I'm
sure he is.
Yeah, he posted on his Facebook today. It was just a bitter pill to swallow. I think he said he sold around 800 tickets. This was the biggest fight of his career, no doubt. And it's bad enough that getting a knockout is bad enough, but I think it's fair to say he took a beating, which is slightly worse in a way, because his corner is sitting there watching. I agree with Kev. For me, it has to be the corner. I know the ref has a responsibility, but if I can see it through the television in his eyes, he's had enough, but he doesn't want to be the one to say it. Do you know what I mean?
He don't want the embarrassment.
No, he doesn't.
Giving up. I think that's the key thing. No fighter does. Even anybody. Nobody wants to give up at anything. Especially that they've worked so many years and so hard to get there and everything else. You don't want to give up. If someone takes that decision away from you, which is close to you, it's an easier pill to swallow, isn't it? I know it's a bad thing to say, but you're sort of looking over as if, please fucking help. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Help me out here, please.
I was talking to Martin from New Age Boxing. Shout out Martin Theobald, always, and the New Age Boxing boys. And we were having a discussion about it, and I said, I don't know who's more to blame, the corner or the ref. And he made a good point. He said, I would point the finger at the ref, because the ref is literally being paid to protect these boys. That's literally what he's being paid for. So corners will always have. Listen, corners will always have the decision as well. The corners think with their heart as much as their head. You know what I mean? And I understand they should be dragging somebody out, and they should notice when somebody hasn't got any more to give. But they're emotionally invested in that as well. The referee is not. So
yeah, that's also true. That is a good point, because it would have meant a lot to them to win as well, I guess. So yeah, there is that element to it. But let me go on to my tweet that I tweeted after the fight. I'll tell you how it happened, right? So I'm watching that, and after the fight, Ohara couldn't have been more, kind words. What's the word I'm looking for? He was humble, and I don't think you've seen him win a fight and not be like that. He respectful to Derry Matthews. He's been extremely respectful to everyone after the fight. I've never seen him really say a bad word about someone afterwards where you thought, this and that. He's always been respectful after the fight, and it proves to me he talks to sell tickets and to make money. So I tweeted, when are people gonna? Or I wonder when people are gonna realise Ohara's not a bad person. He just plays the villain very well and is getting paid to do so. So it got a big reaction. A lot of people liked it. Ohara retweeted it himself. I got a lot of people reply and say, when you talk as much shit as he did and then get beat by Josh, you don't deserve to talk anymore, which is a fair opinion. Do you know what I mean? For someone having an opinion, I'm never going to say, well, you're wrong. I put out my opinion. That's what my Twitter is. It's my fucking opinions. If you disagree with me, that's cool. There's a couple of guys that disagreed with me that I got a lot of time for. That's fine. I'm not a fucking egomaniac. If you don't agree, that's cool. But
you do talk a lot of shit as well.
Not as much as you. You thought Brophy was winning fielding. So one geezer replied to me and he said that Ohara bullied a fan. It was some ridiculousness. Anyway, there's been something in the build-up in the week that someone tried to set Ohara up. They took a picture of him and then posted, I hope this geezer gets knocked clean out, or something like that. So I knew the story behind it, and then the geezer was like, "Oh well, I haven't got fanboys telling everyone how nice I am." I was like, "What makes me a fanboy?" And then he started getting abusive, and he called me Ohara's bitch, and I should go make it geezer a cup of tea or something. So, listen, I should.
So what did you do, mate? What was your response?
Well, listen, I probably said some stuff I shouldn't have said, and people said to me, especially my missus said to me, "Why do you engage these fucking idiots?" But when you come from where I come from, you don't let a grown man call you a bitch and just take it. Like, nah, I don't play that, man. Like, listen, if you say that to my face, it's going to end differently. Same as I'd expect it if I said it to another grown man. If I said it to his face, I'd expect to be slapped. You don't call another grown man a bitch and think because it's via your text message, or via your phone rather, that a little app can save you from being called a cunt, because you are a cunt. If you think it's okay, and you've got the first line of your bio on Twitter says "proud father of 3," I'm going to question the children you're raising, my friend. And that's all I did. I just questioned it, because if you got one keyboard warrior little bitch talking, I just queried about the 3 that you're raising. That's all I did. Maybe I shouldn't have, but you questioned me. You brought it to me. I shouldn't have crossed the line, but at the same time, don't come to another man and call him a bitch if you don't expect to be responded to. So that's all it is. Craig then jumps in, just as he does. Come to a show. I just said, look, I'll tell you every show I'm at for the rest of the year, and come and say it to my face. We'll have a conversation. So we tried. He sort of ignored the offers, and that's fine. Maybe I shouldn't have said what I said, but you don't go to another grown man and call him a bitch and expect you expect something said back to you, because, like I said, if I call you a bitch face to face, you should slap me in the face. That's what you should do. You should lay me the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Fuck him. Fuck him and fuck his family. Cut that bit out. Jesus.
It is what it is. But listen, people backed us up that know us. The people that know us, they said, look, it is what it is, isn't it? That someone comes to you, you defend yourself, and that's it. He had people back him and say, oh, he's crossed the line.
Defend yourself at all times, eh?
Yeah. That's it.
It's such a weird... Twitter is such... I never used Twitter until I started doing this stuff like a year ago. It's such a weird haven for people. Like, it's a mad fucking environment, isn't it, Twitter? Kev, are you on Twitter now?
I'm not on anything, mate.
Oh,
I'm honest with you. Do you know what? I like to stay humble. Hashtag. Mate, if I did, I'd end up finding addresses and going out and murdering people or something. I couldn't handle it. Like someone calling me a bitch.
This is it.
See you later, mate. I'm finding out where you are. I'm coming down to fucking talk to you about it, because that ain't happening. The only person that's called me a bitch is my wife. Yeah, I'm not letting things like that, and that's why I'm off them all, to be honest. As I say, people say, well, why haven't you got Facebook? And I say, well, if I wanted to be in contact with you, I'd have your fucking number in my phone, wouldn't I? You know what I mean? That's it. But, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's a tough one.
It is mad. I find myself on there, so like, I'm on a tube, or I'm at home, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, and I'm floating through, just reading all this mad shit. And then if someone has a go at me, or has a go at Sam, or the stuff we do, or whatever, or even anybody that I like, I just can't help myself. I know I shouldn't do it. I cannot fucking help myself. I start destroying their character, man. I start like dissecting their character and just fucking abusing them publicly. And then I go to sleep and I wake up the next day and I go, why did I bother doing that?
Yeah.
And then 12 hours later, I'm calling somebody else a prick. I'm doing it all over again. It's just... It's fucking weird, man. It's so weird.
I think I can take being called a prick. People have called me a prick. You can call me a cunt. I'm alright. But when you start calling another grown man a bitch, I think you cross the line. So that's my personal thing on it. But, hopefully we'll see him at some shows. Goodwin shows coming up. We're going to be at Groves Cox, hopefully. I don't know if
we won't see him at any shows. I asked him 5 times.
No, but let him know. This is where we'll be. We'll be wearing our Fight Talk tees. Come and say hello, brother.
He actually said, hey, I don't do my talking on here. I fight for real. And I replied, going, all right, let's have a fight then. And he went, I said, we can have a fight whenever you want. Tell me when you want to have a fight, we can do it. And he went, you little podcast whore.
All right.
Which is accurate. I'm a podcast.
Well, he did call us. He said we were like a modern day version of the Dudley Boys, which I thought was brilliant.
That is a good reference. He said I looked like a cross between the Crazy Frog and Professor Green.
I can see
You'd
it.
take Professor Green, wouldn't you?
I can see
I
it.
thought take the rough with the smooth. That's all right. But yeah, that was fun. It's always good fun.
It's always good fun. And Pete, we have our back as well. Robert Martin just responded, helped, always backing us. Sponsorship for boxing. Shout out to them, because if you don't know about them, they don't make any money out of boxing. They pay a lot of money out helping fighters prepare in their facility in Mersey. And you know, he was like, listen, I'll pay for the geezers to come to the show. Come and say hello to Sam. So yeah, big up sponsorship for boxing always. Let's move on to the main event. Can you sum it up, please, Craig? Because I nodded off. I didn't watch it. I fell asleep.
Yeah, listen. I'll sum it up for you. It was Paul Butler v Stuart Hall, and what I did for that fight was changed the channel to ITV Box Office. So I did not watch the fight. I had no interest in watching it at all.
Kevin, sum it up. Someone's got to have watched it, surely.
Well, I started to watch it, fell asleep, and then watched it in the morning, like I always do.
From what I've seen,
watched it. It was it was Paul Butler just battered him, mate. It was but didn't batter him as in hurt him. That was the thing. You know, when you look at the guys' faces after the fight, it looked like they'd just gone to the weigh-in. You know, there wasn't a scratch on one of them. There wasn't a bruise on one of them. It was quite, it was, you know, it was just a shutout, wasn't it? You know, he was a better boxer, and Hall obviously got paid for it. So, you know, fair play to them both. But, it was a different class, really. So, but not much happened.
I was going to say, from what I've seen, sorry, Kev, from what I've seen, Butler was just counter-punching spectacularly. I caught like a minute of each round when the WBSS fight had stopped in between rounds. I kind of flicked back and forward. And from what I could see, Butler was just on the back foot, just counter-punching. But as opposed to doing that Huey Fury counter-punching where you're not really throwing much, he was throwing plenty back. You know, every time he slipped a shot, he would throw 3 or 4 back, and they were quite accurate, and it was really clean work. Stuart Hall's big at that weight as well, so he was always going to be hard to move. It didn't really hurt him, like Kev said, but you know, I think if anybody hurt anybody, it was probably the other way around. But you know, Butler he's just too classy a boxer. I'd like to see him against Jimmy McDonnell, and you know, I reckon he could probably beat Jimmy McDonnell, to be honest. If McDonnell comes through that Laborio Solis rematch, I thought he lost the first one, to be fair.
Yeah. Like I said, I nodded off, so I didn't see that or the Perez fight. Woke up and saw notifications of you and the other boys on the site discussing it, and it wasn't great, no?
Nah, shite. Did you watch it, Kev?
Yeah, Perez just looked way out, didn't he? He didn't, you know, he was, I'm not really a big fan of Maris Bradis either, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, he just beat him, didn't he, quite comfortably. You know, it was, I don't know where Perez goes from here. You know, he was at heavyweight, wasn't great there, dropped down, looked great in his first fight, when however long it lasted. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know where he goes from here, but he's not a world level fighter anyway, is he?
I don't know. I would have to. I can see why you say that, but based on last night, I thought he got a rough shake last night. To be honest, I thought the referee was shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. Every time Bradis stepped in to throw a shot, he would throw 1 or 2 shots and he would clinch and hold. Then he would step back out, and every time he threw a shot, he would clinch and hold. Every single time. Perez had no time to work. Now, he probably wasn't doing enough to win the rounds, but what should have happened for me is in the 3rd, 4th or 5th round, the ref should have then said, listen, 1 more of that and I'm taking a point. Don't wait until the end of the 10th round to do anything about it, because it's far too late by then. You spoiled the whole fight for me. I didn't think it flowed well. I thought the Southpaw Orthodox just messed things up. It was a really awkward fight. I thought Bradis, he's mastered that uppercut. He's almost a Eubank Jr. of the cruiserweights, so that uppercut is very nice. But other than that, I thought it was very poor.
What was the score in the end? What did the judges score it?
118, 111, I think.
Yeah, 7-8 rounds, wasn't it?
Yeah. But Usyk will fucking batter him.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If he gets past 5, I'll be impressed with him.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one is Eubank, isn't it? Next Saturday.
Next week.
Eubank.
Yep.
That's that might be the first one I watch live. I think that will be on the ITV box office, I guess.
I can't believe you've not tuned in, man.
Terrible, isn't it?
The production is so good. I know I talk about it every week. It's so good.
It is a great show. But yeah, the boxing last night didn't live up to the show, did it? That's for sure.
The problem is, I even I tweeted Virgin because the ITV box office channel isn't available on Virgin. So I'm snookered.
Oh, how do you watch it online?
I was watching someone they've got a stream through their site apparently, which it takes away the having it recorded option that I could have just woke up this morning and done it. So I have to be live watching it. Like I said, I'm getting so fucking old. I'm not off. But yeah, hopefully I'll catch you back next week. But that's at the same time as Crawler and Burns, so maybe not. The week after is Groves and Cox. Hopefully you and I will be there, so I won't have to worry about fucking watching it on the telly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do need to get involved in it because it seems like it's doing well. The production, I have seen obviously the clips and footage of it, and it does look quite good. Looks different, and that's all you want, isn't it? Something a bit different from the norm, I guess.
Yeah, it's very, very slick. The lights and it's brilliant.
Good.
Really good.
What else was on our topic list?
That was the only boxing that happened this weekend, to my knowledge.
Lee Eaton
Sullivan got a win.
Wait, Lee Eaton. Big up my mate Lee Eaton. One is he had his first and only, I think, charity fight. You know, he's done well. He's lost 2.5 stone in about 10 weeks, getting ready for it, and all raising money for a great charity, the Amelia May Foundation. And he ended up stopping the geezer. The geezer didn't look like he'd ever been near a gym, and Lee's nerves had the better of him at the beginning, but he ended up coming back, and great effort from him, you know what I mean, for someone who's never done it before, and he's good friends with a lot of boxers, and he does his own promotion. He looks after MTK Brentwood, MTK London. Oh, that's a show I'll be at next week, so I won't be watching the other boxing. But yeah, fair play to him. He raised a lot of money for charity and actually got a stoppage win, so I think he's retired now, 1-0, so fair play to him.
Leontay Wilder.
Leontay Wilder.
You see him throwing the big hooks in, man.
Yeah, mate. I never knew he was a southpaw as well. Sneaky little southpaw.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough.
Fair play.
Fair play to him.
Fair play. He does fucking loads of stuff for charity. So
he does.
Yeah, good. Amazing for him, and a great story about him and his family and stuff like that as well. He's just a really good guy.
Yeah, he is. He's just a top lad. Always looks after us. Helps us out at his shows, and yeah, I can't say a bad word. He's also the guy that arranged the I can't remember what it was called, boxing with the pros for the Grenfell Tower disaster, raising money for that. You know, he's just a good bloke, and yeah, fair play, Lee.
Yep. Yeah, next week you got a couple of things going on next week. Loads of shows next week.
Yeah, there is, man.
Loads of shows.
I'm at that MTK show. I literally forgot about it till I started talking about Lee.
When is the MTK show?
Saturday night. That's Saturday night, and you've got quite a few Goodwin boxers on that.
By the way, Eubank is not next week.
Is it not?
Nah, I don't think so.
It's the 7th, yeah.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Then Groves is the 14th.
Oh shit! I thought it was later than that. Oh yeah, well you got 7th. So you got MTK, you've got that Eubank show, you've got Burns Crawler, which I'm hoping to be at. Then you've got something else is going on. The Cyclone Hellraiser card.
Yeah, at York Hall.
That's on as well. There's loads of shows on.
Mate.
Is that televised, that one?
Yeah.
It's on Channel 5,
yeah.
Good fight. Good fights. You know Luke Watkins, he's fighting Robin Dupree for the Commonwealth Cruiserweight title. That's on that. Chantel Cameron will be in action. Arsenio Byfield's fighting on that, coming fresh off his defence of the Southern Area against Sammy McNessie. He's now vacated that title.
Luke Watkins may as well just walk in and just take the belt and leave again.
Stranger things have happened, mate.
No point in that fight happening. Yeah, Byfield's ditched the Southern Area, he's vacated the Southern Area, and he's fighting for a British Eliminator, I believe.
Is that what it is?
Yes. So that'll be a good fight.
Yeah, shitloads of
Kev,
boxing.
do you want to go to that, Kev?
Go to what?
The
Cyclone? Nah, I'm alright, mate. Nah, I'm alright. I might go to Groves.
Yeah,
That'll be a good show.
round the corner from you.
Go to Groves. Yeah, that's what I mean. I might go to that.
Let me know. I'll get you tickets off Dino Richardson. Him and Dan Keenan are fighting on the card, obviously. Lewis Adolphi's fighting on it. There's Yusuf Al Kamari's on it. Good show. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know about the boy that's fighting Eubank?
You order him.
Not much.
Yeah.
I know he's undefeated.
It's about
He's proper fancies it. Apparently, I heard his promoter's quite funny. If you've not got his promoter, Sam on Twitter, he's quite funny. He puts out a lot of mad stuff. Ahmet Onar, he's called.
He won't be as crazy as Dave Higgins, surely. That's another crazy promoter right there.
Nah, he's not as mad as Dave Higgins. Eubank put a picture of himself running through the hills or something like that, like on some mad green hills. And this promoter shared it. Hold on, I want to find it. It's hilarious. This promoter shared it and said, "Chris Eubank, are you training hill sprints so you can run away, or do you just like posing in the countryside? The background reminds me of the Highlander movies, but the guy in the front doesn't fit. Remember, there can only be one, and it's not you." What a detailed fucking insult.
That's brilliant. He's obviously got the 280 characters on Twitter.
Yeah, how do you do that?
You had to be selected, mate. We're not special enough.
Oh.
You would have loved that. You would have been in more detailed character assassination of people. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. Yildirim's a big boy, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's a big, solid bloke, isn't he?
Yeah.
But for me, it's just Eubank's speed is going to stop someone like that, I think. It's going to be a good fight. That's the first one that I'm really, really interested in.
Should be good. Crawler Burns, anybody interested in that card?
We've done it to death, haven't we?
Yeah.
I still
I
think...
just don't know who's going to win it.
Crawler.
Burns.
Oh, you've not helped me there.
There you go for Craig. Come on, don't sit on the fence and say draw.
I've got to go for Ricky Burns. Because I might be getting
to win it.
I might be getting a lift up with Big Don Smith, who floats about the Matchroom gym, so I don't want to be crossing hairs. Yeah, hopefully Ricky Burns does the business, but I fear if he does the business, we're going to match him with somebody, I don't know, maybe not Josh Taylor, but somebody that will give him a really hard time.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard fights, hasn't he? That's the thing with Ricky Burns. You don't want to see it anymore, do you? You just want him to go out on a big win, I think. But
yeah.
I think, as you say, I think if he beats Crawler, because that's a proper 50-50, I think.
Yeah, I think
if he does beat Crawler, he's then going to go up against someone like Josh Taylor, and I think it's going to be sayonara.
Yeah. Although there's a lot of, the good thing about that division now is, because Terence Crawford's left, all the belts are free, aren't they? So all the belts will be getting spread about. Now, one of them, the IBF, is getting fought for between Sergey Lipinets and Akihiro Honda, who I've never seen fight. But they're fighting for one of the belts, but you still need 6 other boxers to fight for the other 3. So that's the good thing about the division at the moment. So you might end up getting an easy entrance.
Maybe you could get a rematch with Ndongo, because that one was really close. So...
Shut up. I can't wait till Bellew pounds David Hay again.
Alright, let's move on. It's official. It's official now. Although we don't know what it's called still, because Eddie Hearn he announced it as Bellew Hay 2. In the ring last night by accident he said Hey Bellew. I mean Bellew Hay. David Hay's calling it Hey Bellew 2. I don't think it matters. The rematch is happening December 17th, 9 months after the original. I'm gonna save my opinions till last, because you know what they are without me saying them. Kevin, please don't be rude. You know, have a bit of respect. Is it a fight that the fans are dying for the way we're kind of being fed?
No, not at all. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight for British boxing fans. I could take it or leave it, I'll be honest with you. But now that it's on, I'm going to pay for it. 100%. I don't know how much David Haye's got left. I know you love his trainer and you love him, Sam, and everything else, but it worries me how much he's got left. I think Tony Belly's only got a couple of fights left as well, so it's a big money earner for him. But yeah, if David Haye's anything of what he was, and if he's fit with no injuries, then I think he's going to win. I think the only way Tony Bellew wins is by David Haye getting another injury. I thought that at the beginning, in the first fight as well. I thought, David Haye would win that. But obviously with the injury, it went the other way. But I can't see, I can't see the same thing happening again. And I think David Haye knocks him unconscious, which hurts me to say, unfortunately.
Craig?
Well, Sam, as you may recall, I was the only one to predict a Tony Bellew victory. I think...
Don't remember, mate. Don't remember.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, I think... I'm going to say it. I think it's too soon for David Haye. I think after that sort of injury, you have to... Although people recover at different rates, this is not the kind of sport where you should be happy to recover at a faster pace. For me, I think you should be taking time, making sure, especially at that age, and the type of injury that it is. A ruptured Achilles is not a broken leg. It's a different ball game, It's not something that, even though it might feel better and you might be able to run on it, it's not a simple thing to come back from. So I would question whether it's too soon to return after that sort of injury. And for me, watching back the fight again, if I was to watch it again, I can remember clearly the first 3 rounds, and I was texting you at the time. He just wasn't. His timing was off. He was missing Bellew. Bellew was ducking out the way. He looked a little bit quicker, a little bit neater with what he was doing. He should beat him easily. But I think all the stars have aligned for Bellew. Age, injuries, timing. I think they've all just come together at the right time, and I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen a similar situation to last time. I think he might struggle to get himself fit enough to beat Tony Bellew, and I could see Bellew somehow doing it again.
Okay. It's obviously well documented, my feelings for the Haymaker. I can take him or leave him. He's alright, I guess. He's a guy that has always, for me, brought excitement to the divisions. He's always been a talker. He's always got bums on seats. He's always got people talking about boxing. By the time this fight comes, he's going to be 37 years old. And he's going to be 9 months out from having had Achilles surgery, for obviously a ruptured Achilles. That is insane. Like you said, this is a sport and this is going to be the highest level of sport, of combat sport. Is it too soon? It hurts me to say yes, but it could well be. Recovery times for an injury that severe can be a long time. But to take the fight 9 months after it happened, it seems really quick. Now, my guessing is it was now or never, this fight, because I can't imagine Bellew would have waited around another 3 to 6 months for it, because he would become irrelevant and quite stale, I guess. So I guess it was now or never. I can see why there's a call for a rematch, because on his day, I don't think there's a close... I don't see it being close skill set wise, but David Haye isn't that fighter anymore. And the proof was in the first couple of rounds of the Bellew fight before the injury. Although, we do believe, and it's quite clear to a lot of people in boxing, Haye went into that fight with the injury, and his game plan would suggest that was the case, because he was wild and he was lunging and he was he boxed away we'd never ever seen him do before, and I don't think that was just out of pure hatred for Bellew. I don't see it, because he's always been calm and calculated when he's fighting people he doesn't like. You know, the Chisora situation, for example. But
yeah.
It is close, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bellew can just rough him up. If Bellew just pushes him around as much as he can, puts pressure on him. You know, he's had the shoulder reconstructed, he's had the Achilles now, he's had a lot of problems.
I agree with your point, Sam, believe it or not.
I'm trying to be realistic.
I think he 100% went in there with that injury. I think he had 3 rounds in him where he thought, I've got to just knock him out. He believed he could, but obviously Bellew took some of his massive shots. I was shocked. I was shocked that the shots that did land, that Bellew was still standing. I know there was a time, I don't know if it was the first or second round, where Bellew took one and he was stumbling. I thought it was all over. But he did seem to overreach, and I think that was just out of desperation because he knew he couldn't last long. And I kind of agree with what you said about taking the fight too soon, but I think for him he had to take the fight as well because of his age. You know, he's talking about fighting Joshua next year. He needs to get this out of the way quickly. You know, and whether that happens, I don't think it will. I think it's too far. But whether that happens or not, you don't know. Money talks, doesn't it? But, you know, if it was going into next year now, he wouldn't get that Joshua fight. So I think he had to take it as well. You know, you love his trainer as well, don't you, mate? So, you know, I'm sure he'll get him up there as well and ready for it. But listen, it is a half decent fight, isn't it? You know, I think as long as David Haye is fit and got no injuries, I think it'll be a real good fight.
I went down to the Haymaker gym to interview his trainer, Ismail Salas, and one of the things that I thought was interesting, I wasn't interviewing him about David Haye. I was just interviewing him about his career and you know all the stuff that he's achieved and blah blah blah. And one of the things that he mentioned to me about Jorge Linares was that Linares came to him as a fighter who people thought was washed up. He'd lost 3 fights. People weren't really sure if he still had it. And what Salas said to me is that he has this test that he does. So he sets up a test in the ring, and it's all about hand-eye coordination. And if you can complete the test, just from him watching you do it, he can tell if you still have what it takes to fight at the top level. He says it's never let him down. He said 19 world champions. He's took Linares back to world titles. He says this test is how he can judge if people still have it. And without him even asking, I didn't even ask him, about David Haye at all. He said, you know, Linares still had it, and he kind of gave me this look, he kind of looked me in the eyes with a bit of a enthusiastic smile, and he said, trust me when I say David Haye still has plenty yet to offer. And for me, listening to a trainer who's that experienced and who's done it all, 19 world champions, he's coached in every single continent, he's a world champion on every one of the 5 continents. I didn't ask him the question.
Sam, when Craig said that, Sam, you just had a massive smile, didn't you? I could feel the smile.
More than a smile, mate.
I could feel the smile, mate. I could.
More than a smile, I tell you.
Yes, but I mean I didn't ask him the question. He felt the need, or he wanted to say that himself, and that tells me that what he's been seeing in the gym is what he wants to see. But you know, the only issue I have is stay in the gym, David. Just stay in the gym, mate. Don't go to Mykonos to hang about with that prick Joe Fournier. Don't go over to LA and drive about in convertibles with Dizzy Rascal. Just go to the gym, do the work, and do what you need to do. It's just... I know
what you're saying.
It irritates me a bit, you know?
Yeah, no, and I see why it irritates people, because he's quite fond of the celebrity lifestyle, isn't he? And, you know, it's something he can't get. I think he's probably quite money-driven, and that can be detrimental to you in some senses. However, you also have to bear in mind, someone like footballers, like look at Ledley King. The guy was only allowed to train 1 or 2 days a week because of his injuries. Yeah. So David, in a 10, 12-week camp, he ain't going to be in that gym 5 or 6 or 7 days a week. I'm pretty sure his body wouldn't hold up to it. You know what I mean? He's probably got a routine now. He's got it all set out of how it's going to be doing it, and maybe it'll be 4 weeks on, a week off. I don't know how to do it. Maybe 4 days at the gym and 3 rest days, just aerobic exercises. You don't know how they're going to work it, but it's got to be slightly different from what he's done before, because he's always said that the training camp's always the hardest part for him, what he puts his body through. And he
but
can't...
the thing is, if you do it that way, you're never going to know what result you're going to get when you step in the ring.
Yeah.
If you don't train effectively for a fight, and you do more swimming and you do more cardio and you don't put as much, you're going to walk in the ring. It's going to be a mystery to you. And I would hazard a guess that's what happened the first time, because when we seen him at the open workout, Sam, he looked alright. He was moving about doing pads. He looked sharp. He looked quick.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. I doubt he did much sparring. I doubt. I don't know. It's not for me to say, but
yeah, no, it's a good point.
There,
it is a good point, because you don't really see Hayes. One of the rare few. He doesn't tend to talk about his sparring, and you don't really see him. That's not something you really see him discuss a lot. So it would be interesting to know. Does he spar? I'd imagine he does something at some level of sparring, but who is he sparring? To what intensity? It would be really interesting to know, but he's quite secretive about that. You see him do some pads occasionally in his weight workouts and stuff. But yeah, you don't see him post up at great work today and have a picture of someone who's just sparred. I don't know, any of the heavyweights. Joyce, for example, that hasn't come out yet. But you'd imagine he'd be sparring Joe Joyce. They're in the same gym together.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot. We're not going to know again until he walks in there. He sells me a dream, and I buy it every single time. And even if he loses, then he can cash out. If he loses, he's done. There's no two ways about it for me. None. Even if it is another freak injury like the first one, then that proves his body's gone for good. So yeah, time will tell.
Yeah.
It's a fight that people will get involved with. I'd suspect closer to the time when the build up starts, people get more enthused about it. At the minute, we've got Joshua a month away, and then after that, then November and December will be geared towards that pay-per-view. So I'm sure people will get more on board with it.
I'm more excited about that than Joshua, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Joshua fight does not tickle my balls.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first, people.
Last thing I want to touch on before I go, I'm not having Chinese tonight. Ask me what I'm having.
What you having, Kev?
I mean, what am I having? I had me roast. I cooked some roast, mate, for the family. It was lovely.
Go on,
what are you having then, Craig?
Craig's dying to tell us.
I'm having a salmon al forno, boys.
What?
Salmon al forno. Do you even know what that is, Sam?
I ain't got a clue.
Some sort of meat.
Not in a tin, mate, so you wouldn't know.
You're a cunt. I don't even know. My missus made me a roast. I'm quite. Listen, I know me foods. I eat a lot of it junk, but I eat some good food from time to time.
Salmon al forno washed down with a glass of Glasgow's finest orange liqueur. Iron brew. Every single week. When are you going to fucking sponsor me, Iron brew? Jesus Christ.
Probably not after hearing you say you character assassinate anyone who says anything to you.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Although they're famous for their adverts, to be fair, they used to do some really funny adverts.
Yep.
Let's just talk about Cyclone Promotions. Cyclone Promotions. So Carol Frampton left, Conrad Cummings left, and a couple of hours before we came on the phone, there was rumours swirling around Twitter and Facebook and Instagram that Josh Taylor had left as well. We can confirm that Josh Taylor hasn't left Cyclone Promotions. He's came out and confirmed that. I've spoke to the media guy for Cyclone who's confirmed it's a load of shit. But something's not right there. What's your thoughts on it?
Cyclone are now dying out for a big star. They're crying out for a big star. They need a big... Now that Frampton's left, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They lost money on the Ohara Davies bill, I think. And then they lost again when Frampton and Gutierrez was cancelled at a minute's notice. They're in trouble money-wise, I would imagine. Conrad, for me, has probably just followed Frampton to BT. It hasn't been confirmed yet, I don't think, but it makes sense. They're good friends, I believe, and work together. So maybe I can imagine Josh would have gone to Cyclone and said, listen, what's happening? What's happening? Because it doesn't look good, does it? But, for like you say, the media guy today told you it's not true, which would lead me to believe that he's probably had some assurances that everything's all right. We're having a tough patch, but stick with us, Josh. We'll get you the big fights. and will get you, you know, where you believe you need to be, which can only be world titles for him. So, you know, there is no smoke without fire. It wouldn't surprise me if he had been a little bit concerned. You know, he'd be wrong to not be concerned. But if he's been given the assurances by his promoter, then that's all you can ask for. You know, take people on their word. They've got him to where he is right now. So yeah, fair play to him for coming out and saying, no, that's not true.
Kev, what's your thoughts, mate? Because for me, it seems as though people start talking about these kind of things, you know,
and then they happen.
Yeah, maybe 50% of the time they come through.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because he is the only name that they have, isn't it? You know, and you don't want to be there on your own, do you? The only good thing is they can put all their money into him, can't they?
Yeah.
You know, that's the only good thing, and that's probably what they've done if he was thinking about moving, because they've just got desperate. So we're going to throw everything at you to get you this and get you that. But as I say, are they really going to get him them world title shots, or is he going to have a lot more fights than he needs to if he was with an Eddie Hearn or with a Frank Warren? I don't know. I don't think the money's there, as Sam said earlier. So I think, you know, they may make big promises, but I can't see them, you know, delivering the big promises. But yeah, it's a tough one. You know, they need him. He doesn't need them. That's what it comes down to, and it's just all about loyalty, isn't it? Now, if you know, he seems like a really nice guy, Josh Taylor. So he comes across like a loyal guy. So I can imagine him sticking with them for a couple more fights. But if it doesn't go the way he expects it or what he's been promised, I can see him jumping ship very, very quickly.
It's just very tricky when you, especially because he was so close to Conrad Cummings and Carl Frampton as well. They are tight, the three of the boys. So it's just, it must be really awkward for him, because to my understanding, I don't know the ins and outs, so I would never want to, you know, presume that something is happening or whatever. But you know, I doubt that Frampton's on good terms with the McGuigans. Mm-hmm. I would doubt that strongly. I would probably think that Conrad leaving has made it even more awkward. And then Josh is just kind of floating about the gym with their new signings, who are both very, very talented. Martin Bacoli, the heavyweight, is a monster. And Chris Billum-Smith, very, very good amateur. Just won his first fight in like 30 seconds as a professional. So they're the new signings over there, and they're very talented. But Josh doesn't know them. He's just floating about himself, you know, and it must be hard. Yeah,
it's a difficult one. It is. This is when it becomes awkward, having Shane as the trainer and Barry as the promoter, or whatever his role is. Is he officially the promoter? I don't actually know, but he's involved, Barry McGuigan. This is where it becomes awkward, because if Josh isn't happy with Cyclone and the promotional side and he needs to leave, what does that do to his relationship with Shane?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit to be sorted out one way or the other. If he's giving them a couple more fights, I'd imagine, then hopefully they make some money and can push forward and get him the world title fights.
I think he could win a world title now. I don't know about you boys, but
yeah, 100%. I think one fight and then a world title shot. That's near, and I think that's probably what they promised him to keep him. The only good thing is as I say, Frampton's gone, and that was their big money earner. You know, and that was who they were probably throwing most of the money at. Because he's gone, they can throw everything into Josh Taylor. The worst thing that can happen is Josh Taylor now gets beat.
But what you need to remember is, you know, obviously we can say what they've offered them as a world title fight. They would have to have the money to win the purse bid. Do you know what I mean? So unless he's a mandatory for a world title, who the fuck is going to pick him? Who's going to pick him as a voluntary?
Yeah,
nobody.
True.
No chance.
You have to get yourself into a mandatory spot, and then you have to win the purse bid.
Yeah.
So it's very, very tricky, because he's never anybody's voluntary. No way.
Yeah. No. Good point. Yeah. No. I think that's it. I think let's wrap it up. Craig wants to go and eat his salmon en croûte and iron brew, or I don't know.
I'm going to let's wrap it up like I would advise all young men to do.
I never did.
Be responsible.
Yeah, that's it. Let's wrap it up. We're done for another night, another week. Shout out to everyone who gets involved, and yeah, much love to everyone. This has been the Fight Talk podcast.